What's up, guys? Jay, MorninAfterKill, and I'm back here on Borderlands 2. And today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the Borderlands pre-sequel that will be coming out later, September 2014. This year, we will be getting a new Borderlands game. And if you haven't been following Borderlands news or my channel, the Borderlands pre-sequel is going to be taking place in between Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2, and it's going to be giving us a huge amount of fan service inside of this game. We're going to be going to the moon base, which a lot of people really wanted. We're going to see the rise of Handsome Jack, and also the 4 playable characters in the vanilla game are going to be Claptrap, Wilhelm, motherfucking Wilhelm, Athena, and personally, my favorite, the Sheriff of Lynchwood. Now, it's been about 2 weeks since we seen the trailer being leaked and the Borderlands pre-sequel was announced, and at PAX East, Gearbox, and 2K, they held a panel talking about some of the features that will be in this game. I actually have recording of that panel. If you guys want to listen to it, I will put it up on my channel in podcast style format. I put a little bit of gameplay behind it, and you guys can listen to what Gearbox and 2K had to say at PAX East about the pre-sequel. But right now, there's a lot of excitement that's stirring about inside of the Borderlands 2 community right now with the release of this game. Specifically, like I said, this is all fan service for Borderlands community, but as much fan service is being put inside this game, there's a lot of people out there that are they're unwilling to get on board with this game for quite a few reasons. And one of the most popular reasons is, if you take a look on the screen right now, you'll see that there are anti-gravity and oxygen systems, which are gameplay mechanics that are gonna have a pretty big impact on the game. And some people are very tentative to say, you know, they don't want change inside of the Borderlands franchise. But in my opinion, the biggest impact on the franchise inside of this game, or fans of the series, is the fact that Gearbox is not making this game. Say what? That's right! Gearbox is currently busy working on other games at the moment, and 2K Publishing wanted a Borderlands game this year, and they wanted to make sure to strike the anvil while the iron is hot. And I mean, it's safe to say right now that the Borderlands iron is hotter than it's ever been. It's hotter than a motherfucking Borderlands 2 enjoyed a 2-year lifespan, which up until recently still saw new content being released via DLC, even though this year has been all Headhunter packs from Gearbox, which a lot of people feel were phoned in. I feel like Gearbox did a really good job with the Son of Cromarak's Headhunter DLC, and they went out pretty much with a pretty decent bang for what you could consider a $3 headed skin pack that, I mean, like I said, it's chock full of fan service. You got all the, the one-liner jokes from all the other characters. You have the introduction of Mordecai's new bird, Talon, and you also have Son of Cromarak's, which you can spawn Vermivorous at the same time. They fixed, Captain Flint's drop rates and farm route by putting his son as an easily farmable character in the game. And the fact that there's witch doctors and badass savages, you can spawn Triple O inside of this DLC. So, like I said, they've done a pretty good job with keeping the Borderlands 2 lifespan going. PS Vita Borderlands 2 is launching in like just a few days. We have Tales from the Borderlands, which is slated to hit sometime within the next year, and the pre-sequel is coming in September of this year, and it's going toe-to-toe with Bungie's next generation loot and shoot game, Destiny. It's that's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if that pays off. But honestly, it is a bold move. But is it smart that Gearbox should hand off its only, that's right, I'm gonna say this again, Gearbox's only successful franchise, they're handing off to a sister company that works underneath their publisher, 2K. And in my opinion, I think this is the best idea for the Borderlands franchise at the moment, because let's face it, Borderlands, I love Borderlands. Borderlands is a fantastic franchise. It has a great universe. It has plenty of characters in it, and there's a possibility there for a pretty deep storyline, especially when you're talking about the rise of Handsome Jack. But when you look at Borderlands on a whole, you realize that Gearbox they don't really have a lot to do with the success of Borderlands than you think. I mean, they did create Borderlands, but Borderlands is kind of taking itself and ran into success because, Gearbox has a great vision for what they want for this franchise. I'm not going to lie there. Gearbox's vision for the franchise is pretty awesome. But in my opinion, Gearbox now is considered a AAA developer, but in my mind, they're still a small company that just got lucky twice. I mean, Borderlands 1, masterpiece. It is no, you can't even deny it. Gearbox made a masterpiece with Borderlands 1. It's a game that came out of left field, nobody's seen coming, and it took some very cool elements from Diablo and mixed it with a first-person shooter, and it gave you a fantastic game. And Borderlands 2 itself was a fantastic game at launch, but somewhere along the line, Gearbox kind of lost touch with what made Borderlands fun. I mean, with every patch, every nerf, every hotfix that came with this game since launch, it's become clearer and clearer that they focus too much on the quote-unquote vision for the gameplay mechanics, and they lost track of the game being funny, the series being silly, and overall just being a very light-hearted, fun time in a, post-apocalyptic universe where I can just shoot the shit out of people and pop heads open, except in Borderlands 2. I can't pop heads open in Borderlands. God damn it. It sucks because 2K Australia is making the pre-sequel, so you're not probably gonna see any gore inside of Borderlands pre-sequel like we saw with Borderlands 1, because Australians are known to censor their games quite heavily. But Gearbox, when they said they focused on their vision and they wanted to make sure that the integrity of the artwork of the entire game was being, preserved, it felt like a clown taking themselves too seriously. I mean that with the most respect, Gearbox, because, clowning is a pretty hard profession. But when you see a clown taking themselves too seriously, it's like, man, you kind of lose sight of the funness that this clown is trying to bring to me. And that's what Borderlands has brought for me. It was just a silly, fun game that ended up taking itself pretty seriously, especially with the Digistruct Peak, all the different level cap upgrades. But we've already talked about that. You guys know how I feel about that. And like I said, Borderlands, it's taking itself too seriously. And if you look at the fact that Gearbox actually outsourced about 3/4 of the DLC in Borderlands 2 to lesser-known developers, and that led to, quality and inconsistent products, which, I mean, take a look at, the quality of what Gearbox has done with Tiny Tina's DLC versus, say, Hammerlock or Torg DLC, which both of them were outsourced to other companies under Gearbox, and specifically the Hammerlock DLC. Do you know how many fucking invisible walls are inside that goddamn DLC that I've gotten caught on in my entire time? You see what I'm saying? Like, you can see the clear-cut difference between the quality of what Gearbox does and when they outsource a game. So, while Gearbox is still tied pretty close to the pre-sequel project and will most likely still retain the rights to their franchise and have final say over storyline and character development, I'm excited to see a studio as talented as 2K Australia working on this game and not being outsourced to one of Gearbox's lackey developers that work underneath that. Because if you don't know, 2K Australia used to go by the name Irrational Games, and they're responsible for the XCOM series, and also, most notably, the BioShock series. The entire series of BioShock has some of the most interesting writing, storyline elements, and honestly, if you take a look at it, it's balanced pretty well. I played through the entire BioShock Infinite game, and I've never once got to a point to where I was like, this is fucked up! It was a beautiful game, had a great storyline, and when you take a look at a game like Borderlands that needs a lot of balancing in it, I mean, they already have some pretty decent experience balance in games, especially with a strategy game like XCOM. So 2K Australia seems to be outfitted with the technology and the experience that Borderlands needs right now. So even though Gearbox has created Borderlands, and they've done a hell of a job keeping it relevant up until this point, I think it's a good thing to have more experienced developers working on this game instead of doing it the Gearbox way and giving it to a crappy subsidiary studio and then blaming them when something goes wrong. That's what Gearbox did with Alien Colonial Marines, and that's yeah. Even Gearbox doesn't like to talk about it. Go ahead and tweet to Randy Pitchford. Randy! Go ahead and tweet to Randy and tell him about Alien Colonial Marines. Talk to him about it. I bet you he blocks you on Twitter. He does it all the fucking time. He blocks people that have something to say about Alien Colonial Marines because apparently, according to Gearbox, they go and cry to sleep at night when somebody gives them bad feedback. I'm not even lying about that. But 2K Australia, they're a AAA developer. They have a AAA resume, and they've already gotten things in the game to work that Gearbox said wasn't possible. Cough, 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 cough. Here's looking at you, Ice Element. If you go into Borderlands forums and you go ahead and search back through over the years about Ice Element, you will find a huge amount of posts about people saying, where's the Ice Element? We want some type of Ice Element. Gearbox is like, well, yeah, we tried out the Ice Element, we couldn't get it really to work, and, you know, there's balance issues, and this and that, and 2K comes along, and like, here's your ice, motherfucker. It's like 6 months worth of work. They're like, yeah, we got ice to work, by the way, Gearbox. And Gearbox is like, god damn it. But honestly, it also frees up Gearbox to work on other projects such as Homeworld and maybe even Borderlands 3 as early as 2015, because it could be possible that 2K sees Borderlands on a 2-year production cycle with 2K Australia, kind of like how, you know, Call of Duty works out. So it's possible that we could probably see a full Borderlands 3 sequel sometime within the next year or 18 months, which that would be pretty crazy. So if that actually happens, all the people out there that were saying, we don't want the pre-sequel, we don't need the pre-sequel, and it was just 2K's way of keeping people, you know, interested in the game until Borderlands 3 comes out, it's like I said, it's a bold move, Cotton. See how that works out. So, my name is Jay, MorninAfterKill. Make sure you guys rate, comment, subscribe. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you could leave a thumbs up on the video, I'd highly appreciate it because it gives me motivation to make more videos for you motherfuckers that watch my motherfucking videos. This is just my opinions on why I think that, you know, the Borderlands pre-sequel not being made by Gearbox is probably the best thing for the franchise right now, especially giving it to the company that worked on the entire BioShock Infinite series, which is actually pretty, it's critically acclaimed. It's pretty good. It's beautiful. I think it's gonna be a pretty good, I think it's gonna be a beautiful partnership between this and the Borderlands community. So, like I said, my name's Jay, MorninAfterKill. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna see you guys later.